Welcome to the AFR Saints channel, where we provide you daily content on your favorite team, the New Orleans Saints. Do us a favor and hit that subscribe button. Be sure to leave your comments below and smash that like button. Who dat? The Saints have been active in free agency, and all of their cap gymnastics freed up the space to allow them to do that, to re-sign guys like Chase Young and Juwan Johnson and bring in a guy like Justin Reed. And they continue to be active, and they have money to spend still. And if you're going to look at the roster right now and go, okay, where's a spot where they still desperately need an answer? It's very clearly at left guard. I mean, you feel like your tackle situation is good with your two recent draft picks, with Fuanga and Penning. Jury's out on Penning, I get it, but he started every game at right tackle for you last year. You're good with McCoy. You got Ruiz at right guard, but left guard was the revolving door. And Lucas Patrick was the guy who kind of settled there last year, but he had an injury-plagued season. Now he's a free agent. He's testing the market. So you need an answer right there, and honestly, you need stability, youth. You need an upgrade. Well, Teven Jenkins is a name that popped up, and Bill Barnwell did a write-up of the best remaining free agents out there, and Jenkins is a guy who played collegiately at Oklahoma State and was a second-round pick of the Chicago Bears. He went highly. I mean, he was, as Barnwell notes, went ahead of Sam Cosmi, Aaron Banks, both of whom have signed pretty significant second contracts. So this is a guy who is a starting caliber lineman that you're not going to have to break the bank to sign. That would be an upgrade over the current options that you have. Now, you could always go into the draft and draft a lineman. Maybe Will Campbell sitting there at 9 and the Saints like him at guard. Then you have a plug-and-play guy at guard, at left guard, at number 9, and you've improved your offensive line to help protect Derek Carr. I don't hate that idea. I think that's a really good idea. And then even potentially, if it doesn't work with Trevor Penning at right tackle, Campbell could potentially play right tackle. I don't have the arm length concern that a lot do. But if the Saints are looking at potentially nabbing a free agent offensive lineman to fill that left guard spot, that's a young veteran who's not going to break the bank, Teven Jenkins could make a lot of sense. When he got drafted, Matt Eberflus, who was the coach of the Bears at the time, don't hold that against him, but Eberflus back in 2022, this was August of 22, talked about the potential that Teven Jenkins had.
Tevin's smart. He's very smart, very athletic player, and one of my mentors said this, and I believe this, and he ingrained it into my mind, is that you never put a ceiling on a player. So you might have, you always have to watch out that as a coach, you don't put a ceiling on him. Let him grow, okay? Let him do his thing, because some people mature and grow at different times. And all of a sudden, they just grow into a player, and grow into a really good NFL player. And that's for any position. We're never going to put ceilings on guys. We're always going to think the best for every player. That's, the sky's the limit for you, and we're coaching every single player on the roster that way.
I mean, this is a guy who, during his career, has been a player that probably, it's fair to say, as a second-round pick, hasn't reached his potential. But can he reach it? Potential that allowed him to be a second-round pick. That when Mike Gundy had him back in 2020, talked about what he thought his long-term potential was. Listen to this.
Teven is an interesting young man. He doesn't even know how good he is. He doesn't know how much he's worth, if you just want me to call it like it is. He's uncharacteristically strong, and he has tremendous feet. He's got good leverage. He's highly intelligent, and his work ethic is getting better this year. I was serious but somewhat joking with him in the weight room when there'd be a bunch of guys working out, and I said, Teven, can you name the one person in this weight room that's worth $40 million? And he looks at me, like I'm trying to give him a haircut or something. And he says, no. And I said, if you decide to work really hard. That's the kind of talent that he has. And if he just gets his mind focused on, that's what I want to do, that's the level that he can get to.
Jenkins, I mean, look, that was in 2020 when Mike Gundy said that. And so now you have a guy who's 27 years old, so still very much in his physical prime, who has played in 45 career games with 38 career starts. As a rookie, he only played in 6 games. But since then, he's been a consistent starter the last 3 seasons and would be relatively affordable for you. Now, for whatever it's worth, the New Orleans Saints currently have $31 million in cap space. This is a big part of all the cap gymnastics they did to free up cap space. So you got $31 million in cap space available. He's a guy that's 27 years old that has been a starter and could still be a starter. And you look at him right now as an unrestricted free agent. You know, for whatever this is worth, and take it for what it's worth, you know, Spotrac puts his calculated market value at $10.3 million per year. So a 3-year, $31 million. This is effectively the same contract that New Orleans just gave to Juwan Johnson. So I don't hate the idea if you're not going to go draft a starter at guard. And if you don't believe Nick Saldiveri is ever going to be that guy, right? You used a 4th-round pick on Nick Saldiveri a few years back, and he got some run at guard this past season, like a lot of the guys did. There was a lot of injuries, so you had a bit of a revolving door. But if this is a guy with a higher ceiling, who maybe a change of scenery could help, that would be an affordable starter, an upgrade over what you had. I don't hate the idea of going out and signing a guy like Teven Jenkins on the offensive line. So something worth watching here in this sort of second wave of free agency. You had all the big initial wave moves. That second wave will come, you know, leading up to the draft, and then you'll have another wave of free agent signings after the draft when you see what needs teams still have. So just want to file away and keep an eye on with Teven Jenkins, former Bears second-round pick as a free agent right now. Hey, thanks so much for watching. Please leave your comments. I love to interact, and be sure to hit the red subscribe button below.